bring in Brandon Judd for more on this one. He is the president of the National Border Patrol Council. Brandon, always good to talk to you. It's interesting that this aid package has been in the talks for months now, and President Biden is just now hosting this meeting at the White House today. I'm curious if you have any confidence that change will come of it.
I'm not, and it simply comes down to politics. It comes down to whether or not President Biden is going to be willing to buck his base. The base that he has, even though his numbers are underwater, that large base wants to see open border policies, and they continue to push back against it. So I just don't know that he's going to be willing to buck that base. And if he doesn't do that, we're just not going to get the border security measures that are necessary.
Yeah. And as you know, Republicans are pushing Democrats to commit a lot more money, a lot more resources to border security. There are some party differences on what is sufficient and how far to go here. But across the board, when it comes to Republicans, there is agreement on making it tougher to request asylum and adding more physical barriers. How practical is the plan that Republicans are putting forward in your eyes?
It's extremely practical if we look at how it closes the loopholes. What they're pushing for is they're pushing for more policy than what they are technology and infrastructure. And if we got the policy, we could secure the border tomorrow. When you look at what the main driver of illegal immigration, it's all about the gaming the system of asylum, getting released into the United States after you cross the border illegally and then disappearing into the shadows of society. I don't think that anybody would have a problem releasing people into the United States if they actually showed up to their court appearance and they were deported if they didn't have a legitimate reason to be in the United States. But because the vast majority of these people do not show up to their court appearances, that's the issue of the catch and release. And that's what has to end. If we end that, we will see a huge drop in illegal immigration. And that has been proven over my 25-year career in the Border Patrol.
Yeah. And when you talk about catch and release, you and I have talked extensively about gotaways before. Just a few weeks back, you and I talked about that government virtual wall that the government is erecting along the southern border in a push to find tech-based solutions to the border crisis. Brandon, has that started yet? And if so, how effective have AI measures been as compared to traditional border security?
So there are certain measures that are going into place right now and that have been put into place. But those measures don't do anything as far as helping us apprehend those people that cross the border illegally if we don't have the resources in place. What the cartels recognize is all they have to do is flood our resources. If we have 20 agents patrolling a certain area and they flood those 20 agents with 300 people that cross our borders illegally, that pulls our resources out of the field and then they cross a larger number. So that AI, all it's going to be doing is counting our gotaways, and the cartels know this. It's not a manpower issue. It's not a technology infrastructure issue. It's all about policy. If we stop these 300 people from crossing our borders illegally because they know that they're going to get released, then the AI will work. So we have to have policy before we use taxpayer dollars. That's so important.
Yeah. Lastly, I just have to take your temperature on this one before I let you go. I know that you saw this. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is calling for nearly $2.5 billion in migrant aid in her state's latest budget proposal. That's roughly 1% of the entire state budget for New York. What does that tell you, and what should it tell us who are watching at home about how much needs to be spent in actual border states, the Texases, the Arizonas, the Californias of the world, to try to bring the migrant crisis under control?
It's extremely disappointing that she's doing this, because all that does is offers more free aid to people that cross our borders illegally. And the more free aid that you offer, the more people are going to come. So she's asking for a couple $1 billion right now. Then next year she asks for another couple $1 billion because the problem doesn't end at the border.
But do you think that actually helps Republicans? Do you think her saying, hey, even New York needs $2.5 billion, is that helpful in Republicans' fight to say, if New York needs $2.5 billion, President Biden, White House, what do you think we need?
No, it doesn't in the effect that we're just throwing money at a problem, that money doesn't solve it. It's policy. If the Republicans jumped on this and said, hey, Kathy, give us the policy and then you won't have to worry about this $2.1 billion, that's what we need. So we don't have to throw money at it. We have to have policy. And that's what nobody, including Kathy Hochul, is willing to give us. If she gave us policy, she wouldn't have to worry about this issue anymore.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.